London. Welcome to my live stream once again, and sorry about the early technical difficulties. This is actually my second shoot and yes, I had to remove the other one because there were some glitches there, so I had to remove that and let's start again. So I'm about 15-20 minutes late for today's stream, and welcome back. My name is Cheng. I am an Olympus ambassador, professional photographer and filmmaker. So if you're new to this, and basically it's my daily live stream between Monday to Friday, 11 to 11:30 a.m. London time, to talk about photography and filmmaking in general. And because it's a live thing, so that you can ask me any question you like about photography and filmmaking, or more specifically, if you're a Micro Four Thirds or an Olympus user, because I am now a full-time professional using Micro Four Thirds Olympus gears. So this is kind of my specialties, and you can ask me anything if you would like. So this is very simple, very straightforward, and then let's get crack on. And so let's go back to the topic as well. So I do have a schedule usually every day, and then basically I'll talk about three things. First of all, it's like a general updates about, you know, myself in London, whatever, because it's a lockdown period at the moment, so this is kind of like a general update about me. And this stream is public, so my friends and family can watch all around the world, so it's quite nice to give an update as well, so they can see I'm doing okay, my family's doing okay, and so forth. And then secondly would be the topic of the day. Today is Zoom versus Prime, and finally is question and answer, so you can ask me anything you like. But because it's a live, like I mentioned, you can ask me anything at any time. If I do pick up on the comment stream, I will answer them accordingly. So let's crack on and get on with today's stuff. So let me get rid of this topic here and start showing you some photos. So, right. In terms of updates, not much here. You know, London is London. I'm healthy and alive at the moment, so you can see. But let's look at these two photos once again, and so the topic is Zoom versus Prime. So a lot of people always question me about, you know, which one they should choose, whether they should use a 12 to 40 f2.8 Prime or a 12 millimeters, Zoom or a 12 millimeters Prime. I get asked a lot, you know, not just these two lenses, but there are other equivalent like the 75 1.8, or they should get the 40 to 150 2.8, for instance. So there are a lot of questions surrounding these sort of purchasing dilemmas there, you know, like choices. I always suggest them depending on what they use it for instance, or where they have more than one body, camera bodies, I mean, and so it's a lot of questions depending on you as a photographer, what sort of thing suits you the most. For most people, and I would suggest them to use a zoom lens, because it's flexible, it's easy, just one, you can just twist the lens barrel and can get you multiple focal lengths, especially if you do get the pro zoom, and you'll get constant 2.8 aperture and ultra high quality image quality from the lenses. So they are generally very, very good. But I'm like a Prime, guys, you know, like I've been through the zoom range. I mean, I used to have a lot of zoom lenses, and they're all pro zoom lenses, but I slowly developed myself into a Prime photographer, not because I don't like it, but it's the limitations that it gives me, which I'm going to come to in a minute. So let's look at these two photos, for instance, and if I don't tell you, you know, you probably wouldn't be able to tell which photo is. Good morning, Jason, and hi, how are you? And so you wouldn't know which lenses I take with these photos there. In fact, if I'm telling you now, one of them is using a zoom lens and one of them is a Prime lens. You know, without telling you, you probably would not know whatsoever. So this is the thing, you know, you can basically achieve the same shot or equally good shot, great shot, with any lenses, you know, whether zoom or Prime. And this is the point I'm trying to make now. So there's no questions about whether you should get this or that. It's just so depending on your shooting type. For most travel photographers or generalists, I would guess, I think one of these zoom lenses would definitely suit you very, very well. And so you can go and buy, whether it's a full frame, Micro Four Thirds, it doesn't really matter. You should get the equivalent of the 24 to 70 or 24 to 80 full frame focal length. So this 12 to 40 2.8 Pro is really, really good general lens for your Micro Four Thirds or Olympus system, because it is fantastic, good quality, weatherproof or whatever, and then it also has a superb image quality from this lens. So this is good, and also constant 2.8 aperture, so which is fast enough. now it comes to like why I choose prime over zoom is because of my needs as a photographer. Because I go out and when I do my shooting on the street, or when I go to events, things like that, most often it's going to be lower light. So 2.8 may sound fast, but it's not fast enough in those situations. So I always like to use natural lights, not because I don't like ambient artificial light like that I'm using right now, but more because I prefer to use natural light to get the ambience color. So if I blast a flash to it, it kills all the ambient completely. It doesn't look natural. So this is kind of the thing that I prefer to use, a natural light shooting. So that means I would need to use a very, very fast or big aperture lenses. And that's why I would usually go with the prime, because the slowest prime I have is this one. This is the 12 millimeters. This is f2, which is the slowest one, and it's still faster than the 2.8 which I have right now. And I have all the other premium prime lenses and the pro prime lenses, like the Trinity, the 17, 25, 45, 1.8, and also the 1.2 cousins. I have all of them, and so it depends what sort of thing I use, but they are usually 2 to 3 stops faster than a 2.8. That would mean that if I go into an event, a lower light situation, I would be able to shoot either higher shutter speed or much lower ISO to get maximum image quality. And also when you use a brighter aperture lenses on a digital body, the sensor usually picks up better. That means the autofocus will work better in that sort of situations. And if you look at the latest M5 Mark III or the M1 Mark III and the M1X, if you use a 1.2 Pro lens, you can focus up to -6 EV, which is insane. So you can almost see in the, well, almost focus in the dark, not quite see in the dark, but you can focus in the dark. So this is kind of the main thing, depending on your shooting style. In terms of for me though, oops, another glitch. What happened there? I think my thing is stuck, right? Okay, can you guys see me? And for some reasons, I have no idea why my stream has stuck there, and I think Camlink is somehow doing something wrong here. Let me just try to unplug it and plug it back in to see whether it's working or not. And nope. Difficulty there, just 1 second, and then hello, and let me just see if I can get it back. Yes, it's back. Sorry about that, and there is some technical difficulty. For some reason, it's a lot of glitches today, and then it's really, really weird. So the light has gone down a little bit, so I need to turn it up a little, just 1 second. So there we go. Oh, now it's too bright. Let me just go back a little bit more. Okay, so let's get back to the subject, and it's not been my day today. My stream is utter rubbish today. Okay, let's see what I'm going to talk about now. Yes, prime versus zoom. So like you can see these photos. So the top one is using 40 to 150 f2.8 zoom, and the bottom one is from a 17 millimeters prime lens. So as you can see, that there's no, you can't really tell, what sort of lenses I use, prime or zoom. Good morning, David. Good morning, Kimmy. I know today has not been my day. I'm telling you, it's horrible. And first of all, I got another glitch there, and then my kids were screaming, so I had to delete that first stream. And now this is the second stream, and once again I got technical glitches there. So for some reason I think this is connections, and then the HDMI connection is not quite working. And I had to reset the camera to be able to get the feedback again. And so let's see what happened here. So I'm going to show you another photo. So once again, there's another photo here. This is one photo that I shot with Paulina a couple of years back now. If I don't tell you, you probably would not be able to tell whether I use a zoom or a prime. So the discussions here now, like which one would you prefer? And if before you ask questions about whether I should get a zoom or a prime, trying to assess yourself whether you do need the speed coming from a prime, i.e. you do need the 1.2, 1.4, 1.8 aperture. If you don't, then you got your answers there. I think a modern day pro zoom lenses are as good in terms of image quality wise, are as good as some of the pro lenses, prime lenses. So they are all very, very good these days. So it's quite hard to fault them. But if you are going to dark places like churches, events and things like you want to do low light shooting, then yeah, I don't think a zoom would do you as good compared to, let's say, a prime lenses. Even like a third-party menu focusing prime lens like this Laowa here, or the per gear. You know, even this little guy here has 1.8 aperture. So, you know, you can kind of get the idea. You know, the prime lenses are well, usually, I wouldn't say almost all the cases, but usually are cheaper and also smaller compared to prime lenses. Good morning, Ravinder. How are you? It's good to see some of you guys here. And so I'm overrun a little bit because I was actually, this is my second stream. The first stream was completely gone, so I had to delete that one. So this is the second one, and still I had a little bit of technical difficulties there. So if something doesn't work right, let me know, and I'll still see the feed from the comments. And because I'm seeing myself through a different screen here, it's not using a browser, so I cannot really see myself live on Facebook. So let me know how the quality is like at the moment. And yeah, it's not my day today. I give you that. Okay, so let's get back to the discussions here. So the prime versus zoom. So whether you want to have a zoom lens or a prime lens is entirely up to you or your shooting style. So this particular shot is using a prime lens, so it's not a zoom lens whatsoever, but you can't tell. So it's most often the case, and even if you go outside, look at all the other people's shots, you know, and this is another reason, you know, if you look back at our YouTube channel, you know, I know we get a lot of comments asking us, can you tell us what lens you use this one, or can you tell us the exact setting for this particular shot? We don't usually tell you unless we are doing that particular lens review. Then obviously all the images that you see in that episode would be taken or shot with that lens that we are reviewing. Apart from that, you know, usually if it's just general stuff, and I won't tell you what lenses they are because it makes no difference in terms of quality. You can just use any lens to capture the same thing, to be quite honest. So this is kind of my ideas talking about you guys. I think in general, if you're traveling, if you want to have a more compact setup, like carrying less lenses, I think one zoom lens can maybe equivalent to about 3 to 4 prime lenses. So then it's quite good because all you need is just the body and a lens. So it's very straightforward, very simple and effective. But if you are a working professional or you are a very dedicated type of photographer which you use one focal length more often than another, like for myself, I use 17mm almost exclusively. So I think if I look back all my EXIF data from Lightroom, and then I think 80% or 70% of all my photos are taken with either 35mm full frame or the 17mm 1.2 Pro, which I have on the camera right now. And so this is kind of my lens, my go-to lens almost exclusively. Then other lenses that I use equally important is the 25 1.2 and the 40 to 150 f2.8 Pro. So these are kind of my trinity lenses that I use a lot in any situations. But I'm used to this sort of setup. So I usually have two bodies with me, so I have two different lenses on. So for that, and I don't need a zoom lens because I have two different focal lengths. I can kind of swap around quite effectively and quite quickly. But like I mentioned, if you are traveling around, if you just want to have a very basic, simple but capable setup, I think a zoom lens would do you very good. Now we come to the question whether you do need a pro lens or not. I mean, this is the 2.8 Pro. Do you want to step up, spend a little bit more money to get the pro lens instead of a kit lens, for instance, like that comes with the any Micro Four Thirds camera or any other camera system, like the usually 3.5 to 5.6 or 6.3 lenses? That's entirely up to you. And okay, there is a difference in image quality. Yeah, you know, that's honest answer. You know, if you get the pro grade lenses, you usually will have sharper images, more punchy, more higher micro contrast, resulting in sharper images and just generally better quality of image. But then again, I just keep going back to what I discussed, you know, over the last few streams is, you know, you just have to make sure that you can maximize the effect. You can maximize the capabilities of these lenses, you know, by improving your photography skill first. So like if you are just a beginner, if you're thinking about that, you are definitely, for sure, absolutely 100%, 200% even, that you are going to be a photographer or going to be more interested in learning about photography, you are very serious about photography, then by all means, spend a budget and get a better lens, regardless of the body, but just get a better lens. But if you're just kind of touching the water a little bit, I'm not entirely sure, but just want to try it out, I would then suggest, probably just, you should be quite happy with the kit lens first. Let's play around with it. Let's learn about composition and things like that. And to be honest, you can capture a fantastic photo regardless anyway these days. And there's no difference whatsoever. Once you improve your photography skills, you know what composition, what lighting you should be aiming at, then upgrade. But I would also upgrade the lens first before the body, because I don't think you should rush into buying the latest and the greatest body unless you're working pro or your cameras are dying, and then you can upgrade your cameras. And in today's world, I think since about 3 to 4 years ago, despite what you read about, other technical reviews out there, how much the latest cameras are better than the older ones and whatever, my genuine answer from a professional photographer's point of view is that they're all very capable, full stop. Like I can pick up a 4 or 5 years old camera, without any problem, and still produce stunning images. That's not a problem. Like this one, look, the EM1 Mark II, it's been around for, since 2016, so it's about 4 years ago now. And it's as capable as modern day camera, any of the current lineup, is no difference whatsoever. It's still very, very good. Even older one, the Pen F camera, is a 2015 camera, 5 years old camera, is still a stunning piece of engineering machine. And so I have no problem producing good images from these cameras here. And just likewise for any other brand, I'm not talking about Olympus, but like if you look at Nikon, Canon, Panasonic, for instance, they have fantastic camera. And that's another reason why Sony, for instance, they're still selling the A7 Mark 1 and Mark 2 series just at cheaper price. Olympus is now doing a similar thing. If you look at their website, they still sell the EM5 Mark 2 in parallel to the EM5 Mark 3. So it's good morning, Burana. Good afternoon, Burana. Yes, not morning now. And so just like the other cameras as well, like the EM10 series, EM10 Mark II, EM10 Mark III, also selling in parallel in the Olympus website. So they are selling, because they are all capable cameras, there's no difference. The only difference, of course, you will be seeing maybe a little bump in terms of resolution, maybe a little bit bump in terms of increase for video shooting, like now have 4K instead of 1080, you have high speed shooting like slow-mo, depending on whether you need them. But if you are just a photographer, I think any of these cameras would do the job nicely. So rather than spending a lot of money getting the latest and the greatest, you myself consider, if you're just a beginner considering buying a lower end, just test it. If you're really, really happy and you grow out of the capabilities what the camera can provide you, then you move up the gear to go to get a better camera. And and that is also why the reasons that all the camera manufacturers now having multiple beginner level cameras and to shoot this kind of different needs and niche in the market. I think Olympus is quite good in general because the model numbers are quite streamlined. Not like let's say Panasonic and Nikon and Canon, because they just have too many models there, which resulting in very confusing discussions a lot of the time when people actually don't know what they should get, because just too many of them. But in Olympus, they have basically beginner will have the EM10 series, and if you have the pen, if you like the more stylish looking things, the pen series are the EPL9, EPL8, EPL10. These are all good beginner level cameras, and they have the kind of like an amateur middle tier will be the EM5 series. They used to have the Pen F as the middle ground, like the EM5, but of course this has been discontinued, although they're still valid and still current, you can still buy them, but they have been discontinued by Olympus, sadly, because this is still my favorite camera. And then I have the professional, also like a serious enthusiast and a professional level camera like the EM1 Mark II, Mark III, and the 1X. So very streamlined, very simple lineup in Olympus, which is good. I think you don't confuse people in that way. Just otherwise, people just get so confused. What should I get? There's too many of them. They all look the same to me, which happens a lot in the Canon world and the Nikon world, because they just have too many, just way too many cameras there. Even Sony is now doing the same thing, just got way too many now. They got A7, they got A7R, they got A7S, they got they got A9, and then soon they may have A8, and they're just way too many of them. And not only that, they're also selling all the older generations in parallel. So they have the Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 selling in parallel. So like they have the entire kind of like a dozen models, which is all kind of the same cameras, and people will just get confused. And then so for me, I think a simple lineup like the Olympus is actually quite good. But like I mentioned again, don't spend all your budget in the top of the range camera, and if you are not able to get the maximum output from that camera. So like if you're a beginner, I would just aim at getting a simple camera first, and then just play around with it. If you're really serious about it, get a better lens, and then you go with your instinct and just trying to learn about the photography, enjoy photography first, and then you just go for quality afterward, because you don't want to spend everything while then you are so skinned and broke after you spend all your money into the camera and the equipment, and you can't even go out and shoot. So like that's kind of the thing I want to say. So like you really have to just enjoy, and so pick up your camera so you can go out, travel, for instance. And of course we can't travel in a moment, but if you, once the airport is open, once the cars we can drive out, you know, pick up a camera, go out and enjoy photography, learn about photography first before considering getting newer and better equipment. And in terms of prime, like I said, prime and zoom lenses, this is depending on your shooting style and your needs. If you're a pro, most pros will have prime lenses because they shoot a lot of low light stuff, so they would need that 1.2, 1.4 aperture. But for most people who are, good morning Trevor, no you're not late, I'm actually kind of late. I'm about 15 minutes late, for instance, because the earliest stream that I had was total utter disaster, and even this one wasn't that great either, because I had a little bit of technical error earlier, and then for some reason my screen froze. I couldn't even get any signal for some reason. At least I can see anyway, it's kind of frozen on my screen. So I had to restart the camera and start again, and to make sure it works. So there you go. Hopefully this stream is now back to normal, and I can see people are coming in finally. That's good, all good. All of you guys are a little bit late because of the Easter weekend, is it? And well, I tried to get up earlier, but still a little bit later than usual. And but I still did my exercise. I was sweating earlier. You can see my head is a little bit sweaty. Okay. So there you go, that's my discussion today about prime versus zoom lens. And if you got any question, you can ask me for sure. Just went up rooftop and shot some birds. Hey, that's good. Oh, by the way, yes, I already starting to receive photos of long exposure shots. So remember, if you guys haven't submitted any photos that you would like me to show on Wednesday's YouTube Live, please send it to this address. I'm going to put it on the screen now so you can see this address here. So so you email me your photos. I should be able to actually read from the exit data anyway how long you actually expose the shot for. But if you don't, and you can let me know how many seconds you take with that long exposure shot. I'm talking about handheld, not tripod, yeah? This is a fun challenge, so it's not about quality, although I did receive some quite nice shots, I have to say, and then but it's not about quality of the image. You know, I'm not judging a photography or do any critiques or anything like that. It's all about fun, you know, just to see how long you can hand hold a shot, because these days any cameras now, or almost any cameras that you buy in the last 2 years, will have some sort of stabilization in the camera. So I want to see how much you can push the camera in terms of stabilization, how long you can hold the shot handheld while maintaining sharpness. Excuse me. And so that will be fun. I haven't tried it last night. I will definitely try it later, and just to see how long I can do. I'm gonna see if I can beat the current record. And among all the images I received so far, the longest I see is 10 seconds. So I would like to see something breaking that 10-second barrier, to see if anyone can do over 10 seconds. I'll try it myself to see if I can get 10.5, maybe 11 seconds. Let's see. My hands are shaky. Well, it's all fun, Burana. You know, I'm telling you, my hands are not as stable as it used to be. I'm quite shaky myself, and so Well, it's not about cheating as well. You know, you can lean on something if you want, as long as you. Oh, did you, Trevor? You sent me 15. I haven't checked your latest file that you sent me. I saw your previous one. 15. Well, we got a new record. 15. 15. I need to open up your image now, and that's all good. That's all good. Wow, 15 seconds. That's pretty amazing. And okay, so you guys see how long you can photograph, how long you can hand hold your photo. You can lean on something, you can do something, as long as you don't use a tripod, that will consider as a handheld shot. So see if you can capture something, you know, like, okay, it's not a competition, you know, just a bit of fun. So I just want to show how much people can utilize the in-body stabilization, especially if you got the Olympus. Some of you guys, if you are have the EM5 Mark III or EM1 Mark II or Mark III or X cameras, you should be able to do a little bit better, because you have theoretically have better stabilization, because they all have minimum of 6 to 6.5 stop of stabilization against 5 and 5.5 from the older generations. So it's really good. If you got Sync IS, you might even get better, like the 12 to 100 f4 Pro. You have a lens and body stabilization together, so you can get a super stable shot for that even longer. But 15, man, 15, Trevor, you are something. 15 seconds, that is nuts. That is nuts. And so I'm going to show you one photo here. So this one, I did take it about 1 second shot here, but this is a live shot, so like it's not stationary. And so you can see a little bit of movement, but at the leg or the dress a little bit. You can't really quite tell from this small, but just a little bit of movement there, because it's a 1 second shot here. So it's got good, and so that shows how good an Olympus system really is in terms of live shooting, because I go out even in a very dim situations and I still be able to do a shot like this. It's just amazing to do that. I can't say the same thing with full frame cameras, and only because the stabilizer, even they claim to have bigger f-stop, but because of generally the bigger sensors, they're just not as effective as the smaller sensors like the Micro Four Third or the APS-C for that matter. So Ian, good morning. Great information. Thanks for sharing. I also wonder how you set up your live video as the resolution is really clear and volume is loud and clear. Ian, and okay, that's cool. Thank you for your comment here. Right. First of all, I use the at the moment. I can tell you the whole kit, a whole setup here that I have right now. It's very simple, very straightforward. I have the Olympus EM1 Mark III. Basically, just CAF is absolutely automatic. That I didn't touch anything. I have ND filters. I set it to menu, normal 50 frames per second. Sorry, 25 frames per second, and 1/50th of shutter speed. 1.2 aperture, ND filter slap on to reduce the light to keep the frame rate at the correct level. I have a key light here, which is LED. I shoot actually I'm shooting in 4K using the clean HDMI out straight into the camera using a dongle that you probably won't be able to see right here. That is a Camlink 4K dongle that will allow me to stream at 2.7K. That's why you see the clear picture here. And also in terms of sound, I use a lav mic remote wireless go Rode. So that's why you can get the clear audio signal, because I get the mic very close to my mouth, so I get as clean as possible into audio quality. I would like to use a boom mic, because sometimes I don't like wearing this at home, and but having another thing to set up can be a little bit tricky. So like I just do the simple way, just the easiest way and more lazy way, just slap on the left mic with a wireless go, so that will keep the audio quality as good as possible. So hopefully that is something that I answered you. So that's good. So right, Trevor, you have to answer that. Well, in fact, I can announce that on Wednesday, and you don't have to ask the question, Burana. If you join me on Wednesday, I will definitely share everything about everybody who submitted the photos to me. So remember, guys, if you want to take this challenge, who can handhold the longest photo, that exposure, that challenge, and I don't know what it's called. What should I call this competition? I don't even know. Longest exposures, handheld longest exposure. You guys name it. Okay, so that will be fun. And so yeah, remember to submit it to my email address. Once again, I'm going to display right here. And I'm using OBS stream. Kai, no, I'm not using OBS. I'm using Ecamm. Ecamm is my software that I use. OBS is just not as quick to use, and there are a lot of pre-set up. I'm a more like a how should I say that? More like a spontaneous guy. Would like to do things on the fly, and then OBS wouldn't allow me to do that. And I have to preset everything. I mean, obviously OBS is more flexible. There are a lot more functions and a lot more effects I could employ, but everything has to be planned in advance. And then at the moment, I don't think I can spare that time to do that. So Ecamm is perfect because a lot of things are already done for me. All I need to do is just drag and drop. So it's actually quite easy for me. So that's quite good. And no problem, Ian, that's good, all good. So glad that you got that. So yeah, submit the photos to me on my email address showing on the screen right now. So yeah, that will be have a fun thing to do. So I'm going to show everybody's long exposure shot on Wednesday's live stream, and hopefully I can get more so I can show more. If not, then I'll just show whatever I have, and I will try to do one myself tonight if I can, and just to see. Oh wow, Trevor's already showing it. You are. That is why you got to sync IS. Okay, there you go. That's why you will be having a slight advantage using the latest camera, because you do have the best image stabilizations there. So that extra half a stop or even one stop, depending on what model you have, over the older generations is definitely helping in terms of longer exposures. So 15 seconds handheld. My goodness, that is something. That is something, right? You got me curious now. I want to open the image now, but I want to do it now. I'll do it later. Okay. So just to end the photo, end today's stream, or with this particular shot right here. This is one of my favorite street shots, and some of you might have already seen it. It's well published, and it's also appeared in multiple different websites and articles about this particular photo. It even won a couple of black and white street photography competitions. So it's a fantastic photo that I love. It's a shot with an ultra wide prime lens, and is something that I kind of enjoy doing, and this is a fantastic photo. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today, and the sun is once again shining. It's a little bit chilly though, but it doesn't really matter because we can't really go out. But we have a good challenge. So hopefully we'll take you guys out using your camera a little bit and then shoot something. Email it to me. Remember, once again, I'm going to put the address again. So if you guys forget, there you go. Once again, this is the email address. Email me something, the longest handheld shot you can get from your camera. Once again, I'm telling you, I'm not judging. It's not an image competition. So forget about image quality. What I want to see is a sharp shot and the longest number on the screen. Yeah, I want to see whether you can do 12 second, 10 second, 5 second. Doesn't really matter. It's all a bit of a fun, just to test out how much you can push with that stabilization in your camera. And I would like to see that. That would be really fun. Good morning, Rob. And yes, nice to see you. How are you doing? I haven't seen you for a while. Dog shot, keep well. Excellent. Yeah, good to see you. Good. I haven't seen you for a long time. So hope you're well. And I guess you probably have a lot of house projects to do, so to keep you busy for a little bit. Yeah, that's all good. I think that's all we can do these days. But hopefully this challenge will give you guys something to do with your camera. And yeah, let's go and shoot something handheld, long exposure. That will be pretty fun. And remember, okay, also this Wednesday live stream, I'm going to be showcasing all these photos they send me, and come over, we'll have a nice discussion. I may have a special guest to come onto the show, just to remind you that I'm going to announce it on the community page, or I will announce it also on Facebook as well, also on my the Instagram account. So I'm going to give you all my social link, because I haven't been given this before. Where is it? There we go. Right, these are my social links, so you can actually copy it down, add me to your friend, follow me there, and I'll be announcing certain things over the next day or so, just to confirm the guests coming over. If not, it will be the next week. But the long exposure fun is this Wednesday, so I'm hoping to see you all there to have a bit of fun and discuss about all these long exposure shots and how we can utilize or better hour long exposures photography. Let's try to do that. Let's see what Trevor, just stay here, Burana. Okay. Yep, excellent, you're going it, no problem. So see you guys, see you, Burana. Okay, what did Trevor say here? Let's see. Trevor, what's the one long exposure to Portsmouth? Camera was on tripod but not sharp, and I realized the floating pontoon. Ah, yes, it is. Yes, of course, of course. If you have a stable object like a lamppost and stuff, you can judge whether the shot is actually sharp or not. And of course, anything on the sea is moving up and down, left and right, so it will be a little bit blurred there. It's always a little bit tricky when you shoot that sort of thing, unless you're shooting a pier. A pier is usually stationary, you know, unless something happening. And okay, right. I am going to end today's stream. So nice to see you guys, and thank you for joining me. Once again, I'm Jimmy Cheng. I'm an Olympus ambassador, photographer and filmmaker. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday live stream, and tomorrow. Actually, yeah, join me tomorrow because I'm here Monday to Friday between 11 to 11:30 a.m. GMT London time. So I'm doing similar thing every day, just to talk about photography in general, have a topic, and have a little bit of fun. I'll share my images and talk about them. But soon, I'm hoping to see some of your images being showcased in this live stream as well. So send me some stuff and we can discuss. You can ask me questions, ask me how to do that shot, how to improve certain subjects, for instance, how to do portraits, how to do street photography, how to do landscape, blah, blah, blah. Anything you like. And so long that is Olympus, because I know Olympus better at the moment, and I don't, even though I don't use, I do use other systems, and but my knowledge now is more on the Olympus side because I use the latest stuff. But in general, I'm a photographer and filmmaker, so I do know all the basics. They are cross kind of transferable skills, so they're always very, very similar. So ask me any question you like, and that will be it. So until next time, I shall speak to you guys and join me again tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye.